The topic for today's lecture includes the phase of the pregnancy in terms of the 40 weeks, the first trimester, the symptoms of pregnancy observed in this trimester, the fetal development, tests recommended during this phase, followed by the second trimester, in which what are the changes that occurs in the body, what are the changes that occurs in the fetal, and what do you expect when you visit the doctors. Then going back to the third trimester, we'll be discussing about the body changes and the care that a pregnant woman has to take. We'll also discuss about the fetal development, and then we are going to discuss about the labor phase comprising of the early and active labor, followed by transition, followed by the birth of the baby and the delivery of the placenta. So all these topics will be covered in this session. So let us start with the phases of the 40-week process, which is the entire pregnancy phase. So the week 1 out of this 40 week is considered as your last menstrual period. So whenever you have got your last menstrual period, from there itself we start calculating, and that is considered as week 1. The first trimester is from that week 1 wherein you have got your last menstrual period till the 13th week is termed as the first trimester. The second trimester goes from the 14th week to 26th week, and the third trimester is from 27 to 40 weeks. So this is the entire cycle is of the 40 weeks. And to represent the same thing pictorially, in terms of the months, we have 9 months. So as such, we say 9-month pregnancy, out of which the first 3 particular months goes for first trimester. The second trimester goes from the 4th month till 6th, and then the last 3 months constitutes your third trimester. Also in terms of week, the same thing what we highlighted here are being split up in terms of 1 to 40 weeks. Having known this particular 40-week phase of pregnancy in terms of 3 trimester, now let us go into each trimester and try to find out what happens in each trimester. So let us start with the first month, which is basically included as a part of your first trimester. So we are talking about the 1 to 4 weeks out of 40 weeks. At this particular phase, everything happens at cellular level. So everything happens at minute levels in terms of the cell developments. You have second week of the ovulation. So definitely, as I told you, the first week is considered as your last menstrual period, and probably after 2 weeks will be your ovulation phase. And at that particular ovulation phase might be you had a sexual intercourse, and that has resulted in the fertilization of the egg. So once the egg is fertilized by the sperm, and after a couple of days after the fertilization, it creates something called as a blastocyst. So it's basically a fluid that is filled with a group of cells, and that will eventually develop into the different organs of the baby. So this basically happens about 3 to 4 days after the fertilization. About 10 to 14 days, that is now 10 to 14 days after this particular fertilization has taken place, we will be almost reaching your week 4, that is after the conception. And at that particular time, this blastocyst will basically implant in the endometrium. So endometrium is nothing but the inner lining of the uterus, and this blastocyst will implant in that lining of the uterus. So this is what you expect at the 4th week out of the 40 weeks. And many a times, a woman is also unaware about this activity that is taking place in her body, because everything that happens at this level goes at the cellular level. At times, the woman also get the implant bleeding, we also call it as implantation bleeding, at the end of 4 weeks. That means almost after 1 month from her last menstrual period. And many times the woman misunderstand this as a normal menstrual flow or the period or the menses. So many women treat it as a normal menses, but it doesn't usually last for more than 24 to 48 hours. So this is a criteria that can be determined to find out whether it's implantation bleeding or whether it's a normal menses flow. So this usually lasts for 24 to 48 hours, and the bleeding tends to be very light, usually brown in color and sometimes pinkish as well. The difference between this and your normal menstrual flow is this bleeding tends to be very light in color, and you may not find to some extent the clots that you observe during your normal menstrual flow. It is much milder, and you may also find very less of the uterine cramping, which otherwise you might find during a normal menstrual cycle. Implantation bleeding is likely to last for less than 3 days. So as I've suggested, 24 to 48 hours, or might be extended by 1 more day, but altogether it may last for less than 3 days and doesn't require any treatment. So even at times, whenever this implantation bleeding occurs, many women are still unaware because they treat it like a normal menses cycle. Then comes your second month, that is 5 to 8 weeks, and further we are going to discuss the third month from 9 to 12 weeks. So let us first discuss what happens in your second month. That is, we are now looking for from the window 5 to 8 weeks. In this, when the woman sees that she has a missed period or missed menses. So basically, this is the symptom that a woman observes here, that she has not got the period in the next month. Her body starts producing a hormone called as a human chorionic gonadotropin, or basically we also term it as HCG. And we usually recommend to wait for a week, and then we recommend to do a pregnancy test. Now, the kits that are available for pregnancy test, they basically test whether a woman is pregnant or not based on the levels of this hormone. And at times, some women take a little bit time for these hormonal levels to go up. And in those cases, if the test is done early, then there are chances of getting false negative. That's why we recommend to wait at least 1 week from your missed menses date and then do your pregnancy test. If you find it is positive, then definitely you need to go and visit your doctor, and from there onwards you know that you are pregnant, and the remaining of the process will be taken care by the doctor. Second thing is, you may find there is an increase in your body temperature. So these are the signs which indicates that you have conceived and you are pregnant. You may also find a particular fatigueness. Now, the fatigueness is basically observed because of the increase in progesterone level, and because of this you may also feel fatigue, and you may also feel more sleepiness. So these are also quite common in this first phase. Some women tend to get the morning sickness problem, wherein they may get nausea, and some women may also get the craving for the food. So all these things are prime indicators that you are conceived, and these are usually observed from the second month onwards, and it may also continue in the later stage. Going to the third particular month, you will definitely find there is an increase in the heart rate. There is a tenderness and some sort of swollen, your breasts are swollen. So the breast enlargement is also one of the common indicator of the conceivement, and basically it is observed after the third month. So these changes are reflected from the third month onwards. Next thing, what we see is the nipples and the breast, they start changing, and basically the time frame where it is more prominent is in the 11th week. That means maybe halfway down the line of this month. You definitely find a lot of changes in your areola region and also around your nipple area, wherein you may significantly feel a change in their color as well as the growth pattern. Other particular symptoms observed by a woman are quite frequent mood swings. Also, there will be inconsistency and frequent urination, and probably this particular problem will last throughout your pregnancy phase. So we always recommend, no doubt you have a frequent urination feeling, but we still recommend you to have at least extra 300 ml of the fluid compared to a normal intake so that you remain hydrated throughout your day, and the same thing needs to be continued throughout your pregnancy so we can avoid the dehydration process. Definitely we also recommend a woman to plan out their bathroom trips quite often and do not withhold the urine for a long period of time. You may also encounter a problem of bloating as well as the constipation. The constipation problem is more prominent in most of the women throughout the pregnancy, and if it is creating too much problem, then definitely some medications can be given to alter it, but having a good intake of the fluid in your body can definitely solve this problem in a natural way. You can also feel you are more sensitive to the smell. So these are all the symptoms that are basically observed in this particular months, and which we basically also call as the primary symptoms observed in the first trimester in the pregnancy phase. One more thing that is also significantly observed is the woman starts gaining the weight. Further, it is more prominent from the end of your first trimester, and about 1 to 4 pounds of a weight gain is possible at the end of these 2 months, that is week 1 till week 8. In the later stages, the pregnancy weight will often spread out between the following body parts. So when we say during a pregnancy there is an increase in the body weight, this is the ratio mostly to which the weight distribution takes place in the body. So breast usually contributes about 1 to 3 pounds throughout your pregnancy phase. Uterus may represent about 2 pounds. Placenta will be 1.5 pounds. Amniotic fluid present in the uterus lining will be about 2 pounds. Increase in the blood and fluid volume in your body may further constitute to 5 to 7 pounds, and the fat deposits can go up to 6 to 8 pounds. And this basically indicates the overall weight that is being gained in your pregnancy phase. The next diagram that you see here is all the development process that you see in the first trimester. So right from your fertilized egg till the cell division process which takes place until the generation of the blastocyst. So as I told you, this particular process takes about 2 to 4 days to develop to get a blastocyst from your fertilized egg. And ultimately, this blastocyst ultimately goes and implant in your uterine lining or endometrium. Further, the fetus at a 4 week, that is at the end of 1 month from your last menstrual period, may look something like this, and still it is very much smaller and goes at a cellular level. Further, a 10-week fetus may look something like this, 16-week may look like this, and ultimately 20-week may look like this. So we may consider till here at the end of your first trimester, the fetus may look somewhat like this. So now, what are the tests that are recommended by the doctor in this phase? The very common test that recommended by the doctor is the pregnancy test, which is checking for your STG levels in your body. A blood test representing your blood type and the RBC screening can also be recommended to find out if you are anemic or not and to get other vital parameters of the blood. A pap smear test and HPV test is also more effective to rule out any other complications in the later stage. A complete blood count test, or also termed as CBC, gives a clear picture of the different components in your blood. Urine screening to find out the glucose and protein levels. Immunity to rubella, this is again a virus, and if your body has immunity to it, it is also a good practice to do this test in the early phase of the pregnancy. HIV test is also done. Hepatitis B and C is also done. Now, going to the first trimester screening, when we recommend the particular ultrasound at the first trimester, usually we are looking for something called as a neutral translucency screening. Basically, in that scan, the person, the technician who is performing the scan will look out for the following things. They try to check the area of the back of the fetal neck for the extra fluid or thickening of the walls. So behind a neck, if there is a thickening of the fluid as well as the wall, then there are high chances that a fetal may be having this kind of the problem. And second parameter that is also taken is a pregnancy that is associated with a plasma protein screening. So this is also a one more protein that has been found, and we recommend to test for this particular protein. Then if a patient is having high level of STG and showing these particular symptoms, then based on the scan results and based on the blood test results indicating all these parameters, we try to find out whether the fetal might have any genetic birth defects such as the Down syndromes, trisomy 21 and trisomy 18. And if we find that there are chances of this particular disease being incorporated in the fetals, then we recommend to go for the karyotype test. And basically it's done through amniocentesis. Now, to give you a particular feel of this different test and the screening procedure. So the screening that I was talking about is this. So at the first trimester screening, you may get the length of the particular development of the fetal. And basically we are checking for this area if there is any retention of the particular water as well as the thickening mass at this level. And based on that, we recommend the further test, and also we recommend you to do the amniocentesis, that is a karyotype test. So basically this is the different images that I have put up which indicates the screening. This is a three-dimensional screening feature available nowadays. This is two-dimensional, and this is the amniocentesis test which I was talking about. So again, a needle is being pierced with a good intervention of the ultrasound transducer, and the amniotic fluid is being taken from the sac, and this particular fluid is being sent for the test to find out if any genetic disorders are being observed or not. Further, this scan indicates, again it's a normal scan, indicates the fetal heartbeat over here. So this is what basically is being done at the time of your first screening. And these are the changes that I was talking about which occurs in the woman in the first trimester. So you may find that towards the end of the first trimester, you may feel a little bit of the bump in your particular belly. You may feel a development of the breast. You may feel the tenderness in the breast as you see here. And you may also feel the phases of your belly development from the initial phase towards the end of the first trimester. Having seen these particular images and discussed about the thing that happens in the first trimester, we go to the next trimester, that is the second trimester. The second trimester goes from the 14 week to 26 week, and in this trimester the baby tends to grow more larger and more stronger compared to what you see in the first trimester. So the growth of the particular baby increases exponentially in this particular trimester phase. Whatever the symptoms the mother had during the first trimester, like the nausea, craving for the food, and so on, they tend to improve or disappear. What are the changes that occurs in the body of the woman in this phase? The first and foremost, as the baby is growing, the uterus tends to expand. You begin to show a larger abdomen. That means your belly tends to grow at a comparatively faster rate compared to what you observed in the first trimester. You may find a dizziness or lightheadedness due to a drop in the blood pressure. You may also at times feel the baby movement. This may be towards the end of the second trimester. It is quite common, or it may also be seen in the third trimester. You may find an increased foreign appetite. You may find the stretch marks on your stomach, your breast area, your thighs or buttock areas. You may find a skin changes like the darkening of the skin around your nipples or the patches of a darker skin. You may also find a linea nigra. This is a line that you find along with your belly button and moving down towards your pelvic area. So usually on the stomach, you may find a darkened line over here, which you basically call it as the linea nigra. You may find at times the itchiness on the belly because of the stretching of the skin and the development of the stretch marks. You may find the swelling of the ankles or hands. Many times a woman in the third trimester may feel the symptoms, but in some they start appearing from the second trimester itself. So these are the changes that you see occurring in the second trimester in terms of the body development. In terms of the fetal development, what happens is the baby's organ starts to develop fully in this particular phase. They start to hear as well as to swallow. Then they find a small hairs around the particular body are also noticeable. Baby will begin to move around in this particular phase. Baby will also develop the sleeping and the waking cycles. Your baby may reach a length of about 4 to 5 inches and may weigh almost about the 3 ounces. So these are all the development that takes place in the fetal in the second trimester. Next thing is when you visit your doctor, what are the tests that may be recommended by the doctors? Every visit to a doctor may be henceforth maybe between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So now your visit to the doctors becomes more frequent compared to the first trimester visits. Your doctor will check for your blood pressure. He will check your weight. He may recommend you to go for the second screening. He may take for the diabetes screening with a blood test. And if there are any particular birth defects or any other genetic screening that was done in the first trimester, then based on that, he may recommend you to do more scans or more tests. Gender of a particular baby can also be determined at the end of this phase. So these are the things that usually happens from the doctor's perspective, and these are the things which happens from your fetal development perspective. Now, having discussed this, things to be done by the mother. You need to continue to take your prenatal vitamins that have been suggested by your doctor. So all the medications given by your doctor needs to be strictly followed. And if you find any side effects from it, you need to report to your doctor immediately. You need to exercise regularly. A simple exercise like walking will also help you a lot in the later stage of your pregnancy. You need to work out your pelvic floor by doing Kegel exercises. So this will help your pelvic floor muscles to loosen up and may also help you in the delivery process in the later stage. Eat a diet which is high in fruits, vegetables, and that are low in fat. And it should also contain a high amount of fiber. This will help you to overcome the problem of the constipation as well. Drink plenty of water and other fluids. Eat enough calories. So we recommend, based on your normal calorie requirement, to have at least 300 calories extra based on your normal calorie requirements. This is to cater for the growing fetus inside your body. And basically keep your teeth and gum healthy. So many times the pregnant women tend to get a particular teeth or gum disease during these phases. So having a proper cleaning system of them will help you to overcome that. What to avoid? The strenuous exercise or strength that training that should cause an injury to your stomach should be avoided. So any strenuous exercises or any sort of a training that can cause an injury to your stomach needs to be avoided. Consumption of alcohol has to be avoided. So does the caffeine. If you are smoking, you need to quit the smoking in this phase. Having illegal drugs has to be completely stopped. Eating raw fish or smoked seafood needs to be also avoided because they are found to have a content of the mercury, which is not good for the brain development of your fetus. So the fish like the shark, swordfish, mackerel, or white snapper fish, which have a high content of mercury, basically needs to be avoided. You can also avoid the raw sprouts, unpasteurized milk, or other dairy products. Deli meats or hot dogs, if you are eating, then please try to avoid it in this and the later phase of your pregnancy. So these are some of the things which are found are quite commonly used by the pregnant woman. That's why I included them under the list of the things that needs to be avoided. Now, start taking your prenatal education classes, breastfeeding, infant CPR, your first aid, and parenting classes. You can start this in your second trimester. I usually recommend my patients to start it in early phase as early as the second trimester rather than waiting it for the third trimester. Watch the birth videos on the YouTube channel or any other media, but do not get frightened by the natural birth process. I'm telling you to watch the videos to encourage yourself to go for the natural birth delivery. To the hospital or the birth center where you are planning to give your birth. This is also very important and that needs to be finalized by the second trimester. Make a nurse or a space in your house or an apartment for the newborn baby. So start preparing at your house to welcome the baby. Most often, this thing needs to be started in the second trimester because by the time you reach your third trimester, at times your body may not support you to do all these things. That's why it's always a better practice to start these activities in advance rather than waiting at the last moment. So, in the second trimester, you can see, as I told you before, the growth of the baby increases exponentially. So this is the size of the baby where we had left in the first trimester, and now at the end of the particular second trimester, the baby has grown to quite a big extent. And the internal organs have started developing, and some of the organs are well developed as well. So the things that you see is in the 17th week of your pregnancy, if your abdomen was this, maybe by 21 you may see a significant increase in the size of the baby. Again, in the scan, you may see the eyes are well developed, the baby can open the mouth, can suck in, so those features are also active. And again, this is a normal particular 2D particular scan of the baby, which is quite normal. And if you see inside, the parts have also started to grow and the bone structure has also developed. Here also see in this picture, you may see that the hair patterns are present on the body, the eye sockets are developed, and as I told you, the baby also can develop the sleeping habits and waking up particular habits in this particular trimester. Now moving to the third trimester. It is the last trimester and runs from the 27 week to 40 weeks. So it is more physically and emotionally challenging for a pregnant woman, and that is the reason I'd said to do those particular preparations right from the second trimester. So this particular trimester is going to be more physically and emotionally challenging. A lot of movement of the baby is observed in this particular trimester. Occasional random tightening of the uterus walls a woman may find, which are completely random and usually they are not painful. So the tightening of the uterus walls may be observed by the woman, and it occurs randomly and is not causing any pain. So they are quite common symptoms. You may find that you need to go for a bathroom quite often compared to this. The reason behind is the woman's urinary bladder is very small, and as the baby is growing, it puts a lot of pressure on the other internal organs of the woman, and one of the organ is also your urinary bladder, which is located at the lower pelvic area. And as such, because of the pressure, definitely you find that you need to go to a bathroom more frequently. The woman may also encounter heartburn, swollen ankle, fingers or face. Hemorrhoids are also quite commonly developed in this phase. So if you have encountered a hemorrhoid, please go to a doctor and take the treatment. The woman may also encounter a tender breast that may leak a watery milk. So at times there is a discharge from the particular breast as well in this phase. A woman may find difficulty in sleeping and try to avoid sleeping on your back. It's always a better practice to sleep on one side rather than sleeping on your back. When you need to call your doctor immediately, as you are approaching towards the last phase of the pregnancy, that it is more prominent for you to keep a constant watch on your body development as well as the fetal activity. And there are times wherein you need to call the doctor immediately without wasting much of your time. If you have a painful contraction and if they increase in the intensity and frequency, then you need to immediately call your doctor. I'm not talking about this contraction because these contractions were completely random and they were not painful. But these contractions are painful, and definitely their intensity has increased, and so is the frequency. If you see any bleeding at any given particular point of time, need not be in the third trimester, it can also be in the second trimester as well, you need to immediately contact your doctor. The probable last bleeding that you might have seen was the implantation bleeding that has occurred, but after that any particular bleeding, if you observe, your doctor needs to be informed immediately. A sudden decrease in the activity of your baby. Usually in this phase, your doctor may recommend you to count the particular baby movements on a daily basis. And on a given particular day or a couple of days, if you find a significant decrease in the movement of the baby, then you need to immediately call your doctor or visit your particular doctor. If you find extreme swelling as well, then also you need to go and visit your doctor. If you find a rapid gain in the weight, this is also at times common. So if a sudden change in the weight has been observed, then also we recommend you to visit your doctor immediately. So these are the cases wherein you may have to go and visit your doctor, and these are the changes that you will find in your body in your third trimester. Now, what happens in terms of the fetal development in this phase? So by 32 weeks, the bones of the fetus are completely developed. Now, when I say completely developed, means it's not that they are totally developed, but at least all the bones that are present in the body has started to mature, has started to develop. And some of them, to that particular level, have achieved the development phase. The baby can open and close its eye and can sense the light. So many times when a woman suddenly shifts from a darker room to a more lighted room, and if there is a significant amount of the light penetration, then definitely you may observe the moment in your baby in this particular phase, because the baby can sense the particular light. The body will begin to store the minerals like iron and calcium. So the body of the fetal will start storing the particular minerals, and by 36 weeks the baby should be in a head down position. So if everything is normal, then by the 36th week the baby should go now in the normal position with the head down and preparing itself for the birth. So these are the things that happens in the third trimester. And basically by 37 weeks, the organs of the baby are fully developed and they are ready to function on their own. So basically that is the ideal week that we take in order to do the delivery, or maybe extended to 38 or 39 weeks from case to case basis. But usually by 37 weeks, a baby is fully developed and the organs are fully developed and they are capable to work independently. Now, if you see by the end of the third trimester, the baby is completely developed, and as it approaches the 36 weeks, it tries to incline in a downward position with the head being down and providing the particular process for the natural birth. So this is again a scan image of a fully developed baby in this particular trimester. Now, having understood what happens in the first 3 trimester phases, let us go to the last phase, that is the labor phase. Before that, let us also try to see what kind of examinations the doctor can do in this phase. So your doctor may perform a group B strep test to test, and it is basically done at the 36 weeks to find out if there are any bacterial infections that can harm the baby. So it's basically a group B strep test recommended at 36 weeks based on the condition to find out any bacteria that may harm the baby during its birth. The doctor will constantly check the progress of your vaginal area. So there will be a constant check of your vaginal area, basically the cervix region, and that will be more clear when I discuss about the labor phase after this. A cervix will become thinner and it will become softer as you approach your due date. And things to be done during this time is you need to take your prenatal vitamins recommended by your doctor. You need to stay active unless you are experiencing swelling or a particular pain problem. Work out your pelvic floor through the Kegel exercises in a comfortable manner. Eat a healthy diet comprising of fruits, vegetables, low fat contents and more fibrous contents. Drink plenty of water and keep yourself hydrated, and get a plenty of rest and sleep. At times it's difficult to get a good amount of sleep, but whenever you try to have a particular sleep in that particular time. Having now discussed this, we go to the next phase of this. So if you see this particular diagram, it shows you the entire timeline of the pregnancy right from the first trimester. So here is the blastocyst, which is ultimately developed into this at the end of the first trimester. This is at the end of the second trimester, and this is at the end of the last trimester when the baby is completely ready. The bottom diagram indicates the changes that happens in the woman's body. So if you observe here, there is no much significant change, and the baby bump just appears to show at the end of the first trimester, and it becomes more and more prominent as your pregnancy progresses. So does the development of the breast. So these are the changes at the fetal level, and these are the changes at the woman's exterior particular body regions, which are in the entire timeline of the pregnancy phase. Now, having discussed in depth the first three particular trimester at each level in terms of the fetal growth and in terms of the changes that occurs in the woman, we will now move to the last phase, that is the labor phase. This is the phase wherein the baby will be delivered and it will come into the world. So there is a stage 1, which we basically term it as a latent labor and the active labor. The first stage of the labor, so this is basically, it's a first stage of the labor, and the birth occurs when you begin to feel regular contractions, and which may basically cause the cervix to open and to become more soft and thin. So whenever a cervix tries to open up, we call it as a dilation process, and whenever the particular it becomes soft and thin, we basically call it as effacement. So in the first phase, the cervix tends to slowly open up and tends to become more and more soft. That means your body is now preparing for the particular delivery, and you start to feel the contractions. It allows the baby to move into the birth canal. So these contractions and the opening of the cervix is going to help the baby to move into the birth canal. And basically this is divided into two phases. One is the early labor phase, which is also termed as a latent phase, and the next phase is the active labor phase. So early labor phase and the active labor phase. So basically a labor phase is that phase wherein you feel a significant changes in the cervix, opening of the cervix, and the softening of the walls of the cervix, and the entire process is to make the particular baby to go into the birth canal and help it to come out into this world. And these are basically divided into two subphases, that is early labor phase, which is termed as the latent phase, and the active labor phase. Now the early labor phase is your cervix dilates and effaces. You will feel mild as well as irregular contraction. This is basically the start of your labor phase. So you will find mild and irregular contractions. At times you will find a clear pink or slightly bloody discharge from your vagina. That is happening because your cervix is dilating and it's effaceting. For the first time mothers, the average length of this may vary from few hours to a day. So it may be around more than 15 hours or maybe 1 or 1.5 days. So labor pains in this case may last up to that level for the first time mother. To ease the things out, to ease this particular pain out, you can take a walk, but all the things that are recommended here, you need to consult your doctor before doing it. So you can take a normal walk, you can take a shower or a bath, you can listen to the music that you like to relax your mind, try breathing or relaxation techniques which were taught in the childbirth classes. So try to engage those practices here that will ease your process of giving the birth. Change your position as and when required under the supervision of the doctor. So this is what happens in that phase. Having done the early phase, Now, the next phase of your labor comes is the active labor. In the active labor, we see all these changes. So in which the cervix will dilate from 6 centimeter to almost 10 centimeter. So much amount of dilation occurs in the active labor phase. The contraction tends to become more stronger and they come more closer and at more regular intervals. You tend to feel more cramps, nauseated. There are chances of the water, your placenta may break, and it may also increase the pressure on your bed. So all these things are quite common in the active labor phase, and during this particular labor process, your pain is going to intensify. And it basically lasts for 8 hours or more, or on an average, your cervix is going to dilate approximately 1 centimeter per hour. As such, based on these calculations, if you take, roughly it may take about 4 to 8 hours from case to case basis. With the parameter of dilation of 1 centimeter per hour and with the requirement of 6 centimeter to 10 centimeter, definitely it will take 4 to 8 hours. Now, following your active labor phase is the transition phase. In this, the contraction intensifies and they are much more painful compared to the active phase. And it closes and lasts within 60 to 90 seconds. So your frequency of the contraction increases drastically from either 60 particular seconds to 90 seconds, you start feeling the contraction. The pressure in your lower back and the rectum area tends to increase. And this phase is ultimately the last phase, and it basically lasts maybe from 15 particular minutes to 60 minutes from case to case. Now, to represent this, here we go to the next phase, that is stage 2, that is the birthing of your baby. So the cases that we have discussed so far is the contraction cycle and how the cervix tends to dilate. Now we go to the second stage of the labor, that is the actual birth of your baby. Now in this phase, as your contractions have intensified, the doctors will basically ask you to bear down during each contraction, and sometimes they will tell you to push. It is not advisable to push all the time because there are chances of stretching of the muscles at the vaginal area, and if it happens, then it may delay the process of giving a birth. So at times the doctor recommend you to not to push during the contraction, some of the contractions, and for some particular contraction, the doctor will tell you to push. At some point, you might be asked to push more gently, and at some point, you may be asked not to push at all. So you stay motivated. You might ask to feel the baby's head between your legs. So it is quite common that you may find the baby's head between your legs. And as the baby's head is delivered, the rest of the baby's body will follow shortly. So this is the phase in which the baby is in the birth canal, and as the contraction progresses, a woman can feel the baby's head, and once the baby's head comes out, then remaining part of the baby will immediately follow in few contractions. Now, once the baby is delivered, the airway will be clean if it is required, and your health particular care provider or your labor coach will then cut the umbilical cord. Then is the third phase, that is the delivery of placenta. So by the end of the second phase, the baby has already come into this world, but the stage is still not over. There are some things that are still left to be done. So the stage 3 is the delivery of the placenta. Now in this, the placenta is typically delivered in 5 to 30 minutes. So after the birth of the baby, the placenta may come out in 5 to 30 minutes. And usually now the woman feels mild contraction, and those contractions are much less painful compared to the previous contractions. You have been advised to push to remove the placenta. So you have been advised to now push for the placenta to come out. And once the placenta comes out, the doctor will examine the inner lining of the placenta. It will clean it to prevent the bleeding and the infection. So definitely once the placenta has come out, the examination of the placenta will be done to check any abnormality. The inner linings will be cleaned, and this will help to prevent the further bleeding as well as the occurrence of any sort of the infection. So the entire process of the labor I have represented here in terms of this diagram. So if we see at the first diagram here, you see in the first phase, the particular walls of the cervix are almost closed and they are starting to dilate in this particular phase, that is the initial or the latent phase. In the active phase, if you observe, the cervix has dilated to much extent and effacement has taken place. In the transition phase, you still find that there is a significant amount of the dilation that is being observed here. The same thing, if you zoom, you see this diagram. So before the particular labor phase, it is almost closed. In the initial phase, the cervix tends to open up. As such, the dilation process starts. In the active phase, you still see the further dilation. And as this is happening, at times you get the bleeding because of this discharge that is coming out from here. And ultimately, in the last phase, you see the particular cervix has dilated much compared to the previous case, and the baby is now preparing to go into the birth channel process. Now, these are the things that you can expect when during the labor phase. Your particular doctor will constantly check for the moment of the baby and your current scenario in terms of the transition of the particular baby. You may feel a lot of pain in terms of the cramps. As the particular cramps intensifies, you may be asked to stand up or change the position, but all these things needs to be done under the intervention of the doctor. And this is the last phase wherein the baby is trying to come out. And if you basically see, these are the different phases of the labor that you go through. Further, this is the birth of the baby. This is just the image taken of the newborn. This is again one more image that has been taken of the newborn. So these all images are taken by taking the consent from the concerned people. And this is the happy mom after seeing the birth of her particular child. So definitely, I request all the particular pregnant women not to get worried about this phase, because once you see your child, all that pain that you've taken nearly goes away. So this is some of the images that I've taken of some of my patients who see very happy after seeing their particular child.